local panel and do that. And at this point, I'm going to start recording. People out there in internet land that aren't able to make it today will have a recording they can go to, and you will all get a link to it. Again, this is Gary Socolow, and our speaker today will be Frank Broen from Teach America. Frank, do you want to say something a little bit more about yourself?
TRB Access Management Committee with Gary. We even had the opportunity to go to China on an international conference together, and have been
all at our own expense.
At our own expense, absolutely. But I think we've actually been together since the very first access management conference that they had. So it's been quite a ride. Looking forward to today.
Okay. Now, the common questions we get, will you receive credit for your PDHs? Actually, the answer on this slide is incorrect. Yes, you will. Okay. At the end of this, you will get, we will have a list of those people who attended and stayed on. We can get that from our reporting, and that we send a list of attendees out to you with your name, your email address, your company, or who you work for and what city you're in, and that is, and plus the title of this webinar, and it will be enough for your self-reporting requirements for PDHs. And if we are lucky enough to get the number, we will also have credits for AICP people also. It just requires, it takes a little bit longer for us to get the certification number that you will have to use for your certification, because unlike the professional engineers who have like the honor system, you don't yet. So it may take a few weeks, but everybody, whether they're PEs or whether they're planners or whether they're like me and completely uncertified for anything, will get a copy of those who attended, which should be enough. Okay, and yes, we will be recording this and we will put it up on YouTube later. Okay, next. I'm going to ask you a question, who you represent, and we're going to have a poll, and I'm going to launch that poll, and if you could answer who you're with. I'll wait until the majority of you have found this and voted. All right. I'll wait till we've been on for 30 seconds. And all right. And then I'm going to close the poll right now, and I am going to share it with everybody. And you can see that we are definitely doing what we wanted to do with this particular webinar, and that is reach out to local governments and others in the professional, and I really in the profession, and I really appreciate everybody, including the Florida DOT people. So I'm going to hide the poll, and you move to the next one. Caitlin, could you move to the next slide?
Did it not change to "Are you in Florida"?
Oh, okay. It looked so much like the last one that I didn't see it. Yes, it did change. This is user error on my part.
That's okay.
Okay. Are you in Florida? Just something we're interested in. And I will, it's launched, and I'll wait another 15 seconds or so. Okay. I will now close the poll, and I will share it with you. Yes, most of you are from Florida, but that still means about 7 of you are from out of state, and again, I appreciate it. All right. With that, I will hide the poll, and we will keep going in the slideshow. Okay. Frank Broen, please take over how best you can.
All right, thank you, Gary, and thank you for the opportunity to share the work of the TRB Access Management Committee. I call this Access Management Resources on the Web, the Search for Gold. And you'll see very quickly what I mean by that. I think all of you are practitioners dealing every day with businesses that are worried about surviving, keeping their customers happy, and making their employees successful. So how do you tell them why access management is good for them? All right, let me play a little bit with the words. Why is it not only good for them, but also gold for them? It's gold because good access management saves lives and makes our transportation system more efficient. We know this from the research that's been done. It's been refined and packaged in documents that you can use to convince others of the benefits, including the Federal Highway Safety Program information that they've got and Gary's very popular access management answers to your business questions. But the question is, where does all of this gold come from? And it primarily comes from the research that's done by the Transportation Research Board, as well as the research that's done by all of the states, including Florida. So the Access Management Committee has built a website, and I will tell you that the site is filled with gold. The challenge is you have to find it. The Access Management Committee has produced more research documents than most of the other TRB committees outside of the Highway Capacity Committee, and we've taken all of that research and we've put it on our website, which means that we have over 700 documents and presentations about access management. It is the richest source of access management content available on the web, but there's a problem. Most of it is buried in the site, and some of it's hard to find. So what I'm going to do is share some ideas, and together hopefully we will get some rich information out of this webinar. So basically the idea is that we want you to be explorers, to find knowledge, and then when you find it, to actually share it, and you are the person that's going to be able to make that happen. So my presentation today will basically be in 2 parts. I'm going to do a presentation that will talk about research, information, and finding the gold, and then a live exploration of the actual website that will be led by the questions that you have. So the first thing I'll do is cover 3 items: the research, the information that's available on the website, and then basically being able to find gold. So we're going to start with research. The Transportation Research Board is part of the National Academy of Sciences, which is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization covering science, engineering, and medicine. And all of the committees are made up of volunteers who meet about specific transportation issues. the Access Management Committee has organized itself to be able to do good research and to get the word out about that research. So we do a conference every 3 years nationally, and an international conference when we've got enough people to make that happen overseas. So there's been 3 international conferences. There's a research subcommittee that is an extremely effective group about finding good research topics, and then an outreach subcommittee whose word it is to get it out. And basically, I am the webmaster for the committee to try and help make all of that happen. The research that's done is typically done through the National Cooperative Highway Research Program, and most of that is put out in reports, which are on specific topics, and studies are done to see what is the answer to a burning question, and then synthesis, which are less intensive works that basically look out and through surveys find out what the state of the practice is on specific topics. For NCHRP reports, there have been quite a number that have been produced on access management committees, on access management topics, and they are all available on the Access Management website as well as the TRB website. Let's see if we're going to be able to keep going. I see that PowerPoint has stopped working for some reason.
Okay, for whose computer are you using?
On Caitlin.
Okay.
One moment. I'm going back in.
Okay.
We have backup here.
All right.
I'm going to change the presenter to Gary. Gary, do you have the...
I am going to get that right now.
My computer is acting up.
I hate when that happens. Let me get...
Actually, I have it because I have his web page up anyway, so let me just pull it back up. 1 second.
Okay. Oh, I should.
Where is that?
All right. Well, while they're bringing that up, I can actually just keep on going, because all of these reports all of the NCHRP reports and the state documents have been melded together and basically put into a primary source of information, which is now the second edition of the Access Management Manual. So we're on slide 19. All right, and so the Access Management Manual is in its second edition. We've also put out the Access Management Applications Guidelines, which is full of techniques to actually be able to use. So it's a great resource if you're trying to figure out what kind of solutions might be appropriate for your particular problem. We have the Access Management Guidelines. So these are our 2 major documents that have come out of the committee. And from the Florida side of things, that information actually translates into the answers to business questions, which is the short guide to go out, as well as the driveway information guide and median handbook, which have both been highly respected and used by a lot of other states, especially as they're pulling their information together. So basically, this is what refined gold looks like, is when you take all of the research and then put it into information that people can really use, this is what comes out at the other end. So the committee has produced all of these incredible resources and bringing together the brightest and best members from across the country to provide guidance. So let's basically talk about how we inform the rest of the world. And I will touch on the committee's purpose, vision, and the current state of the website. One of the primary ways that we distribute information has been through the national and international conferences that are held. The 12th National Conference will be in Madison, Wisconsin in 2018. So if you have a great story to tell, abstract submissions are open for you to submit, and you can share your story in Wisconsin next year. That's where we will hear about the latest research, the state of the practice from practitioners like yourself, and discuss new ideas about how to become even more successful. The purpose of the committee is to share the latest knowledge, expertise, and experience to facilitate leadership and partnerships to advance the state of the practice and access management and its integration into established planning, policy, and design processes. And what happens when we do that well is people like Federal Highway take that information and produce good reports that and documents that we're actually able to use. The vision of the committee is to create a website that becomes the single best source of information about access management. And I can say we've got the most information. We're still working hard to make the website actually be able to answer your questions. So for the current state, we have over 700 entries in the website, which includes 218 presentations from the past conferences. So this is an opportunity for you to actually go back and listen to people like Gary and Phil Demosthenes talk about access management on the topics, and you can see how it's changed from 2006 to 2015. There are still great presentations out there that contain really worthwhile information. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and ask you to think, what specific questions do you want to know about access management? And what I'm going to ask you to do as we go through the rest of the presentation part of this is actually type your questions either into your chat box or question box, whichever one you have. And when we get to the end of this, we're going to open up the website and see if we can find some of the answers to those questions. I make no promises that we will do that, but we will certainly try. So the committee worked hard to produce the Access Management Manual in 2004. For TRB, the Highway Capacity Manual is TRB's largest gem, but this is a document produced by the same organization. Based on the research that was put into that first manual and has been expanded, a second edition was published in 2014, and we anticipate that we'll have a third manual in 2024 as we continue to learn the best techniques to implement and to answer the hard questions that you all face every day. The Access Management Applications Guideline is also out. We were hoping for it to be an electronic document that was actually part of the website, but we haven't been able to get TRB to agree to letting us do that. But the website was actually designed with this in mind, that this information could actually be included in the web version, and we're continuing to have conversations with TRB about that. There are also the state guidelines that have been put out. Florida's guidelines are on the website, as well as those from Oregon, Colorado, and many other states. There are papers from Cutter, from the TTI and the Center for Transportation Research and Education in Iowa State, as well as the presentations that I talked about. We're just seeing a screen capture here, but before we're done, we should actually be able to view one of these live. These do include the recording so that you can listen to the presentation, and the menu that allows you to go to any specific piece of information that you want. And one of the things that we're hoping to do is actually find the gold nuggets, those moments in presentations that are really very useful and something that the practitioners might want to be able to have direct access to. So Cite is constructed on a Drupal platform, which it's a content management system, and I will hope to show you the back side of it. Usually when you sign in, you get the user view, and then there's a complete backside designer view that I hope to show you. I will say that this has been a major effort, and there are some issues which we are aware and are continuing to work out. I am not a Drupal programming expert, but I finally have got an expert online who actually did a major update to the website this morning. So we are making some progress, and we'll hope to have a system that actually the search tool will do what it was promised to do in the beginning, and that this will be actually a tool that you can use to share the information that you learn with everybody else. So we get to the point of trying to find gold. There's a lot of really good stuff in the website, but the biggest challenge is how to find it. And in finding gold, I will admit that sometimes, you go out and you think that you're going to get these big, rich nuggets of gold, but after you've done a lot of work, what you actually end up with is just a little panful of little dust bits. And if we can take all of these pieces of dust and little tiny particles of gold and put them together in the kind of documents and presentations that we've been doing, we really do come up with something that I think is extremely valuable to the practitioners. So finding information, I think there are 3 things that we're going to share about how to find information. There is a search tool in the site, but I've discovered that there was a technical problem which made it not function the way it was supposed to. So it turns out that Google search is actually probably right now still the very best way of finding information on the website, and there is a trick to using that. And if the next slide comes up, it is basically just going to Google, and if what you will do is type the words that you want to find, so in this case driveway permits, and then type the word site : accessmanagement.info, what will happen is Google will search the website and it will return all of that information. So there were 29 results for that, and you will see that there are a bunch of PDF documents that came up as hits to that. If you don't see the word PDF in front of it, it probably is going to be a presentation that you could view to actually listen to information about that. So right now, this is still the best way to be able to get to the information that is in this site. An alternative, there are documents on the Transportation Research Board, and you can go up into the search tool at the top and type in access management, and if you do that, it will return quite a number of documents that are on TRB's site. And one of the things the committee does is to try and take that information and make sure that it gets put on our own site. You also see that they have this wonderful set of tags onto the side that will help you limit or look within these results to see what kind of information you want. And that is something that actually is currently available on the accessmanagement.info website that does work well. So over here on the side, if there's a category and there's information in that category and you click on that link, it will show you additional results that look like that have those particular tags on it. So that is a tool that does help refine searches that you've got. We also have a brand new initiative that we've started to try and use YouTube as a way to showcase some of the things that are going on in the web. That we have a grad student in Utah who is doing his thesis by taking information out of the Access Management website and basically looking for case studies and pulling out 2 to 3 minute video snippets and putting those up onto YouTube. So this will give us another way of finding information, as well as a way for actually delivering very short pieces of content that we hope would be of actual value to practitioners in the field when somebody has an objection and says, you know, you're going to put me out of business, that there might be a very short YouTube video that would respond to his specific concern that we would be able to show. So if we look at the website, there are the events that are going on can be found. This is how you can get to all of the old conferences, by going to the events. There are resources which have been either put in as documents, presentations, some articles, and we've included the research statements that the committee has produced. And then there's information about the committee, the subcommittees that we have, and you can find members to the committee. And the website is mobile friendly, so this information should work on your phone. So basically, when you get the content that you think is useful, there's a button on the form that you can click that would allow you to like it. So you can share the information by using the Facebook link at the top. You can click on this little thumb to say, yes, I think that's a valuable piece of information, and this has not been well utilized yet. Now, in order to be able to do this, you actually have to register for the site, which is nothing more than requesting access, and then when I'm sent a note, I will grant access and give you a password. And then once you've done that, you would actually be able to go in and make comments to the website. So if you find a piece of gold, you could make a comment about that, and it would be available for others to actually be able to view. And we're certainly encouraging people to use social media. There is a Facebook page now for the committee, and we would love people to be sharing the information that they find on this site. So we are trying to do that. So basically, there's great research that's being done throughout the states and by TRB. We bring that information into the Access Management Committee. We try to get all of that information into the website, and what we want is to actually be able to find gold. So all of this is, I think we are really interested in creating a better world, and as far as this specific topic goes, it will help us if you ask good questions, find good answers, and then actually share what you've learned. And we are trying to build a tool that will help you to do that. So what I want to do is we'll actually go to a live demo now, and I see that there are at least a couple of questions up here, and this is an opportunity for you to ask a question that you want, and we'll try to go find that information in the website. And I've put a little minion here because I know there are problems and challenges, and we've just done an upgrade, so I don't know how much is going to be working or what challenges we run into, but I can fully expect that we will run into a couple. So, Caitlin, would you bring up the website?
This is Gary.
Mm-hmm.
The questions that came in were pretty specific to our access management rules, and I wouldn't expect any answer to be on there. However, I, over the last 6 months, have received questions from our own people about the use of acceleration lanes for trucks.
Okay.
Those of you that follow access management, there was a time where we tried to put acceleration lanes in many driveways and just ended up putting a lot of asphalt that was unneeded out there. But there are times that an acceleration lane would be a good thing. And I was just wondering, I did some research into this over the last 6 months, but I never checked with the access management site to see if anybody else had.
Okay.
I'd done a presentation where acceleration lanes were part of the presentation or study.
All right. Well, let me just, we'll just see what happens when we do that.
And while you're doing that, I'm gonna put a plug in for the site and this, and especially the presentations. And as a person who I am drowning in access management research that is hard to get through, but I have found that if those people have given a presentation, that I can usually get the gist of their research much easier if I find their presentation. And I'm sorry, I was answering questions, so I don't know whether Frank went into this. The presentations that are on this site are narrated and quite useful. They're not just, oh, here it is, and you go through it. It has a slide-by-slide breakdown of what is being discussed, and it's narrated in the voice of the person who presented it. And most of them are no more than 15 minutes long. And it truly could be, an advanced education in access management. I haven't even fully used it. I've gone to many of the conferences, but there's usually 2 or 3 sessions going on at the same time. So even those of us that go don't have a chance to hear everything we want to hear. And that is why Frank really does a good job putting these together. And I realized that we had not promoted these to the access management community of Florida enough, and that's one of the reasons Frank is talking to us today. And no matter what you do, if you could and we can, in our summary, we can send you just some quick links to some of these presentations that will teach you a lot in just a few minutes, and you'll see how useful they are rather than reading through a compendium of research papers.
Thank you, Gary. So, basically, we saw that when I typed the word truck into the site, I only got 3 hits, which didn't really seem to relate too much. When I went to Google, there were quite a number of PDF documents, and this one is, so if we click on this link here, we'll actually open the document, but here's some basic description about it. One of the things I wanted to do is basically show you the back end of how all of this is built. So if we go into the contents and actually see what's back here, it may help you. We actually have pictures of the documents that someday will actually be shown on the website when things work the way they're supposed to. We of course have the title and abstract, the information that you see on the screen. But there's a lot more information in the background. So the author is listed. If there's multiple authors, we can put those in. The images from the document, if they're, typically it would be a cover. The document type, whether or not it's a research handbook, paper, publication, project. If it's related to a conference, one of the Access Management conference, we can have secondary links to additional information. There are tags there that are just free form, anything that I think is useful that wasn't put in there. The categories have been listed, and these basically came out of the first Access Management Manual. And but those are standard categories that, again, will help to find information. A primary link, and then the actual document file itself. So the file is actually put into the website and the year that it was published. So there's
what you're showing us, can we get there, or is that?
No, you can't get there. So this is kind of the behind-the-scenes tour of Disney.
Well, great. Now all I am is sad.
If there's just no way for me to open that up to the larger group, but there is a very rich background. This was one of the reasons why Drupal was chosen, and is one of the reasons why Google can do such a good job of finding the information. There is a search tool that is in this website, but it's not functioning the way it was promised. And I finally found a Drupal expert who said, yep, I know exactly what your problem is. I hired two rocket scientists who were out of a job from NASA to help build the site. And they did a great job at a cost that was considerably less than anything we would have paid to a professional, to do it. But unfortunately, there were some problems that came with that. So that is a challenge that we know, that I now have somebody that I believe is really going to fix that problem.
So what we found out is that it's not rocket science, but it might be brain surgery. So the next time, find two brain surgeons to do it.
Right. Anyway, Gary, this is brand new and something that is not yet complete, but the thumb drive that you gave me that had all of your access management documents, it is now going to be a web page in the access management website, so that everything that was available on that will be available through this access management website. So again, I think that's a great source for you.
Yeah, that's great. And I like the way the page down in there, because we have it by handbooks, brochures, additional guidance, research. I like what you did there.
Okay.
That's pretty much all you need. If you go up,
whoop.
Oh,
that was interesting.
Yeah. Now, is that page working? This
yes,
one? Okay.
It is working. It's just not. It's not complete yet.
Okay. Now, if you go to let's see, the access, the under brochures, AM Trifold, that's the Access Management Trifold Spanish brochure by Cesar Toro.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
So basically it brings it up, and I included a short abstract there pulled from the document. So if somebody actually searches for something in Spanish, they would be able to find that. And you click on the link and it will open the brochure for you. So
yes,
and
manejo de accesos.
So again, let's see. very rich. And so let me just look for transect, if I can spell it right. See if I can find one of the presentations that I think is one of the gold pieces. And this is a presentation by Brad Strader. And if I scroll down to the bottom, the link is at the bottom of this page. All right, not at the very bottom of the page. Okay, so if we actually open the presentation, what's going to happen is that Brad will start. Okay, this is playing on somebody else's computer. So there's actually talking going along here. And you can go to any particular piece. So if in particular you want to look at the transect, here's Brad explaining the transect and what that concept is and how access management actually fits it. So this is one little segment that I would anticipate in the future that we will grab these two slides and make a little YouTube video so that people can actually get back to this presentation, and it will help explain bits of information there. So let's see what so I've pretty much covered everything that I expected to cover at this particular point.
All right. Now, Frank, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
I mean, you showed us the TRB site, but you haven't taken us to your Access Management YouTube channel yet.
Oh, okay. I think we skipped that. Thank you very much. So if we'll bring back up the internet. Okay, so we're going to just go back and
I might, if Caitlin can't go there,
no,
I should be able to quickly go to it. Okay.
Fortunately, there's an easy link. It is the latest article on the home page of the website, so therefore I should be able to access it right through here. That link right there. So the YouTube channel right now has 3 items on it. I actually have a number of things for Gary that was put on a different website that was intended to go here. So we're going to consolidate and get more information up here, but we hope that this will actually become a much richer resource to finding information on the Access Management website. So this was just a presentation on fixing a deadly fat collector road. So this comes out of a presentation that should have a link at the bottom here, so you could go back and listen to the entire thing. But this is just a case study that comes out so that people can find case studies that are relevant to something that they're working on. And so this is a new idea that we're going to try out. I've got very high hopes that it's going to be well received, and that we will actually encourage other people to find these gold nuggets out of the website. And even if you just inform us that that's where the piece is, we can go get it out and create it, or that we may be able to get other people, to even some of our committee members, to join in and help us, or even our friends that says, yes, I'd love to, that was a really great piece. Let me do a short video that we'll put up on the Access Management YouTube site.
I just sent out a link to the your channel, the Access Management channel.
Okay, thank you.
And that will be included in the our summary in case you miss it. Okay.
All right.
Do you have any more? Okay. If not, since we're talking about YouTube channels, and I bet many of you already know it, but if you could make me the presenter.
Sure, 1 second.
Thank you.
Sokolov, yes.
Okay. I will show my screen. All right. And this is what you see. Let me see if I have the right screen showing here.
Oh. Yeah, so actually there's a great presentation in
this is
yeah, that was the alternative one that right now has got the latest from the Roundabouts conference.
Okay, this is not the real one. That's the one.
No, yeah, that's not the real one. That was the one that I started to build before we decided that we needed a new YouTube channel.
All right.
So I repurposed it.
So resend the real link to what you were showing, because I sent them the wrong link.
All right.
Okay, so but while you're doing that, I'm gonna go to my channel.
Okay.
And this is my channel. It's mostly access management and site impact. I've been doing it for quite some time, saving up a lot of these webinars, and I'm going to send a link to that one also. And you will find here things that you probably haven't seen before, or you will find presentations that that you may have missed. I also like certain videos, and one of them is Mike on Traffic. Occasionally puts things on there that are really cool. This one was a webinar 2 weeks ago on corner site. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can find on here, and I hope that some of the material that we have posted will be helpful to you. And that's my channel. All right. So we got a question, is that stuff copyrighted? And the answer is, for the most part, it is public domain. Okay? For the most part, it is public domain, especially anything that Frank has created for us under contract then becomes property of the people. Okay? If I inadvertently used a piece of clip art that has a copyright on it, and I can't swear to every one of my slides, I just have to tell you I'm sorry. You know, I mean, I wouldn't steal an entire presentation, but I have been known to take a good-looking picture off of the internet if it shows something about what I'm doing. You know, for instance, there are lots of things that I have used. there are lots of things that I have used. What am I going to
Not
say?
a testimony, Gary. Though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. That's right. And I refuse to answer that. No one has ever told me to use non-classified things. Okay. So,
but yes, everything on the Access Management channel is free for people to, view and use. Obviously, the caveat is don't take somebody else's work and pawn it off as your own. That's the only complaint that we get from the presenters is, and why we don't provide the actual PowerPoints itself, but just the actual presentations.
Yeah. So, there you have it. Can we have a username and password for the site? And what's the procedure to get them? You're talking about, this is open to the public. I just gave you the link to it. Yeah. There, I have, we want you to use it. Our job is education. Oh, okay. Hayat was asking Frank, whether the access management site, your site, which I mean, he's asking how to get a username and password, and you kind of showed us how to do it.
Oh, okay.
But my question is, do you need it?
The only advantage of becoming a user of the site is that you get additional functionality, which is the ability to click on a thumbs up to like a picture and to actually be able to make comments. Now, the reality is this is a completely underutilized tool on the website that nothing is liked enough to make it valuable, and there are so few comments that
nobody wants to see our stuff. That's why we're doing this.
So the intent was to be able to hopefully fix things. One of the side benefits to me was if there was a problem on a particular item that somebody wanted to make comment about, they could make that comment. I would be notified and be able to go back and fix things that are on the site that are not working appropriately. Or the other comment is, this was a really great presentation and more people should look at it.
Yeah, that's all well and good. But as a person who's tried to sign in, if you become frustrated, just give up. I'm serious. You know, because you can still get the same thing without it. And once it's all working great, then you can tweet it to somebody.
Right.
You know, there's only so many nerds out there that we can tweet these things to. So.
And thank you, Gary, because basically the content that you get is identical no matter whether or not you're logged in or not. You get still access to the same information, and all of the functionality works except for those two specific things I mentioned.
Yeah, and I just so you know, I have signed up for all the tweets that Frank does, and he doesn't do many tweets.
Yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm showing you that it's not all of our stuff that's on my channel. By accident, found out that Federal Highway put out a series of really great videos on some of the latest, to me they're the latest, some of the designs that are being promoted in the intersection control evaluation program in order to get safer and more progressive kinds of intersections out, and how they're covered in the new highway capacity manual. You talk about hidden gold.
Mhm.
So I mean, this is one on the displaced left turn intersection, and I have to say that slowly, or I'll say misplaced. But there's great stuff. Just really a lot of it. Reason we even had this today was to show this to you. All right. So if we don't have any more questions, we can call it a day, and we will get a summary out in the next few days. And we, if you have other questions, you can email us. And John Crane, thank you for your kindness in sending us what you think about our webinars. Appreciate it. All right. And thank you, Hayat. All right. So with that, hope you have a good rest of your day. All right. Take care.
All right.
Thank you to everybody. All right.